Grammy-winning musician whose latest album is called Weathervanes. He can also be seen in the Oscar-nominated film Killers of the Flower Moon. Please welcome Jason Isbell. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You got another Grammy.
I did. I got a couple this time. It was crazy.
Oh my God. This is how many? 6?
This is 6.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
Well deserved. And not only are you an accomplished musician, but you are now an incredible actor. You were in Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, which has been nominated for all of the Academy Awards. And you're great in it. Now, did you find that the grind of touring and performing prepared you for the pure stamina you needed to sit through the entire movie, start to finish?
Yeah. I do really good at not peeing, and that helped a lot.
You're well trained for it.
Yeah, it was an incredible experience to see all that go down. I didn't know why I was there.
No, don't be so much. You're incredible in the film.
Well, thank you, and I do believe they didn't let me screw the movie up.
No.
But it took a little while for me to realize that. So they had this guy who was like a dialect coach, right? And all day, every day, he was working with DiCaprio and with De Niro on talking like this. Yeah. And I went and met with him, and he said, "We're just going to hang out. I don't have any notes for you. You just talk like you talk." And I thought, I know why I'm here. They're saving money on the dial.
There you go.
Yeah.
Talent and a budget cut. 2 birds, one stone.
Out. Yeah.
That's so funny. I also heard that an incident happened on set when you were doing a scene with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, yeah, there was an incident.
There was an incident. Someone, yeah. Do you want to tell it?
I could tell you that. Yeah, I could tell. I would not have volunteered to tell the story,
No,
but I
think we should. I have the sense of humor of a 14-year-old boy, so I would love for you to tell the story.
Perfect. So we were in this very small space, and we were shooting a scene where the two of us kind of get up in each other's face, and it's intense, and we're not friends, and we're about to, throw hands, and it gets really serious. And we've been doing this for a couple of hours, and all of a sudden there were like 30 crew people in the room, and me and Leo, and the camera was rolling, the film was happening, and all of a sudden somebody in the crew flatulated.
You said that in the most polite Southern way. He flatulated. Well, I shouldn't assume it's a he. It could have been a she. I'm sorry.
It very well could have been a she. But whoever it was, you could tell that that person had lost a great battle.
Oh, yeah.
Just by the sound of it, Yeah. And then, of course, everybody being the best of the best, nobody did anything. Nobody would, ooh, he farted,
No.
It was like, later on I called it a farticus situation because they were all willing to take the hit for this. But what happened was I started laughing and DiCaprio started laughing. And I thought, oh, great, we're doing one of those blooper reels because I'd never been in a movie before, I thought, this guy farted, this is going to be great. And then he, like wove the laugh into his character, and all of a sudden it was Ernest laughing at Bill, and I was not Bill anymore. I was a redneck laughing at a farting man. And I realized this is why one of us has an Oscar.
Sure.
And the other one is about a budget for an accent.
You were going to say that he rolled it into his character and he just said, "Excuse me," and just went on. And now that's part of the movie.
I'm nervous. That's what my guitar player said. I'm nervous.
I'm nervous. Well, I imagine when you're on stage performing that if that sort of thing happens, one of the band members farts, then you just play louder.
You do. Yeah, you do. We have cues. It's hard to communicate on stage. So sometimes it's intentional. It's like, that's when we go to the drum solo. Yeah.
Now, was this the first time that you ever acted before?
Really, yeah, it was. I've done some voiceover stuff for a show called the Squidbillies, a show that I love.
Yeah, that was great. You got some fans here.
I was the youth minister on that show. I had gone to Bible school on a cheerleading scholarship. So essentially, I was just playing myself on that one. That was easy. And then I was in the Deadwood movie, just standing there in the background because I just loved the show so much that they let me come stand in the background. And that was
How generous of them.
It was really kind. Yeah, it was really. But this is the first time I'd actually acted like somebody other than myself or a youth minister, so it was a challenge.
You're really, really incredible in the movie. Is it true that you just started auditioning during some downtime during COVID when you couldn't tour?
Yeah, we were locked down, couldn't tour, and I told my agent, if you can find anything where people are working safely and I can still keep me busy and do something creative, and if there's a good story to tell. And so I got an audition, I got another audition, and I wound up, on a Zoom call in my bedroom with Scorsese and De Niro, and then I got the part. Yeah, it was amazing. It was my birthday, actually.
Oh, what a birthday gift!
Yeah.
Doesn't get any better than that.
No.
So I want to talk about Weathervanes. Mm-hmm. I heard that you wrote the entire album when you had downtime on set. Is that true?
Most of it, yeah, almost all of it, I did.
Now, when I have downtime on set, I play Wordle.
Yes. I had gone through a lot of Wordle. I'd tried. Sometimes I'll try everything else except what I should be doing.
How did you do that? Did you now have a creative association with the acting process on that film and the songwriting process? Are they woven in any way?
I think so, but that was incidental, really. I didn't know until I went back and listened to the finished product of the album that I had used a lot of themes and names that happened to line up with the movie. In the song King of Oklahoma, there's a Molly, and that to me I had no idea that I was spending most of my time with, Lily Gladstone, who was playing Molly, and it was just getting into my brain. And one of the tricks that I have as a songwriter, as I go along, I have eliminated ways of editing myself until it's time to start editing, so I don't slow myself down. And so if I'm writing a song, I'm not paying attention to much other than just the puzzle of making the words line up. And
do you play and write in your head at the same time, or do you write first and then how does the process work? How do you not get in your way when you're in the creative flow?
You have to remind yourself, like, am I writing a song or am I editing a song? Uh-huh. And those, you can't do those at the same time. I can't. Some people probably can. But I'll start by repeating a phrase. I'll overhear something or I'll think of something, and it may be literally what I'm doing. Like I might say, there's not coffee in this, and that might.
Well, you don't have to give it away. I'm sorry, they cut the budget, okay? We'll get you coffee.
And most of my songs are complaints at the end of the day. But then after a while, you just repeat it, and a melody sort of makes itself happen. And then I'll pick up a guitar and start finding the chords. And I kind of look at it like there's a big, huge field full of rocks, and everything you need is under one of those rocks. And it might be under the first rock you pick up, but you might have to pick up 1,000,000 of them. But if you just keep trying things, eventually you'll get there.
I feel like I'm just a lifetime of picking up rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep going. You have a song called Middle of the Morning, and you talk about being a strong but silent Southern man. Do you feel like the idea of what a Southern man is or Southern masculinity has evolved in your lifetime?
We're trying to evolve that, but evidence sometimes shows the contrary to be true.
How so?
Well, in my experience, we're not always the best at talking about how we feel, and that makes us not very good at dealing with our emotions. And things will come out in ways that we don't intend them to, when we're not able to say, I am scared or I am sad. And I don't necessarily know that that's a Southern thing, but it definitely happens a lot in the South, and that's where I came from. And
do you hope that your music can kind of act as a solve for young men to grow up and see another way of being?
I would like that. It serves a purpose for me initially, but I think if your intentions are honest and you're really trying to communicate with people, then that will happen as a byproduct of what you're doing. And I see a lot of big dudes crying at the shows, and it makes me really happy. It makes me really happy. Cry big dudes. Oh, you
Don't
can do
cry.
it. You can. This is a safe space, big dudes.
Safe space. We can laugh. We can cry. You also are extremely outspoken when it comes to common sense gun laws and advocacy. You wrote a song on your album that's about the fear as a parent that you have in this country that many of us feel sending our kids to school every day. Was that, I can't even imagine how difficult that song was to write. Was it an emotional experience for you?
It was hard. The first time I wrote it, I didn't do a very good job because I wasn't saying exactly what I wanted to say, you know. And when I rewrote it, I got closer to what I meant, and then I did it again, and finally I was actually telling the truth. Sometimes that's the process, you know. You want to be vague, and you don't want to hit the nail on the head, but this one really called for that. And I went from, when I'm writing about something that heavy, I find the best way to do it for me is to go from my own personal perspective. I don't have any experience in a mass shooting situation, so I'm not going to write a song about that. But what I will write about is being at the grocery store and hearing a balloon pop, and the first thing that comes into my mind is, oh my God, is somebody in here with a gun, you know? And I know it is extremely frustrating for a whole lot of people in this country to deal with. It's you know, it's something that we shouldn't have to worry about. I think it's something that you know, is a capitalist issue at heart. I think all those companies that sprung up after the Brady Bill was repealed are really kind of pulling the strings right now and selling people something that they don't need so they can feel proud of something that they really shouldn't be proud of, you know.
That's right.
But it's scary. It's scary. And having a child, you know, it does make you think about these things more often. It won't necessarily make a good person out of you, but if you start as one, it'll make you worry a lot.
Yeah. That's the truth.
Cheers. I have to smell.
Well, you're going to stay and you're going to perform for us.
I am.
You're going to perform a song called Cast Iron Skillet. Now, I'm from Kentucky, so I'm no stranger to Southern phrases like, don't wash the cast iron skillet. That's why I never do the dishes. But you have a way of using these like simple Southern phrases, but there's a much deeper meaning underneath. What was the inspiration behind this song?
I like to make characters and then follow them around and see what they do. And when I start a song, I don't necessarily know how it's going to end. I just like to make characters that you can believe and that are honest, and then see how they behave as human people would behave. And sometimes that character is the narrator, because this song has two separate stories. Both of them are true, and both of them happened to people that I was close to when I was a child. And the first story is about a couple of guys that I went to school with who, you know, went down a bad path and wound up murdering somebody, going to prison for the rest of their lives. And then the second part is about a relative I had who fell in love with a black man, and her dad disowned her and never spoke to her again. And you know, these things really happened, and this was the 80s and the 90s, and you know, they still happen today. And the narrator is trying to give advice, but it's not really good advice. I mean, here's the secret: you can wash the skillet. You know, it's made of it'll be fine. You can wash the skillet. A lot of times I'll write a song that has some Southern, you know, words of wisdom in it, and people will say, hey man, that's not exactly right. And I'm like, you're almost there. You're almost, you're understanding the song, you know.
I cannot wait for you to perform. I'm very excited. Everyone here is very excited. Weathervanes is available now, and Killers of the Flower Moon is streaming globally on Apple TV+.